Southampton missing the chance, of course, to move up the table. For Arsenal, they still remain very much at the wrong end of the Premier League standings. Just to confirm, they currently sit 15th in the table. Craig, where should we start with Arsenal? I saw some saying, look, it was nice, the players clearly fighting for Arteta. They could have crumbled when they went 1-0 down.
Who said that?
I had some pundits saying it on the radio, on the wireless.
Really?
Yeah, they were saying, look, they're clearly still playing for Arteta.
If there's pundits out there and on any medium saying that, they should be hauled out, their pay should be taken off them, and they should never be allowed to broadcast again. Because that's just nonsense. They were completely outplayed in the first 45 minutes. And I heard some talk about, this is the kind of game that drives me nuts with the basement boffins that just want to talk about tactics and times G and all this nonsense, because this was a half-time team talk. And
I think it's XG, isn't it?
What did I say?
Times G.
Times G, XG, whatever it is. This is a half-time team talk, and I've been in this position so many times that it didn't need any talk about tactics. It needed somebody to get in there and go around that dressing room and say, finger out, finger out, finger out, where's your desire? That's what it needed. Meanwhile, they'll go to back three and a back four, because they had no desire to do the basics. You can't showcase any supposed talent you've got if you don't win the ball back, particularly at home. You don't go and press them, you stifle them, you pressurise them, and then you pass. You show that desire. You roll your sleeves up. They had none of that. Listen, the only celebration Arsenal have tonight is they didn't get beat. Right? They didn't get beat. That's the only thing they can think about. Discipline again. Xhaka, a few days ago, brain dead. Gabriel again, brain dead. Gets tight to Che Adams for the first goal, gets turned, doesn't win the ball, they score. Gets tight to Walcott on the halfway line, right tight, doesn't need to do it, gets turned, gets sent off. In the Tottenham game, at Tottenham Stadium, gets tight to Harry Kane, doesn't need to, gets spun, they score. Get my point? There's a recurring theme about all the mistakes that Arsenal are making. Look, I don't know if Arteta's going to be the man or not, but what I'm doing, and I know he's won the FA Cup, and it was good at the time, and the performances were encouraging. But so have Wigan won the FA Cup recently, so have Portsmouth, I think. So you shouldn't read too much into it. He may be, and I say that with inverted commas, may be a good manager in the making, but I'm telling you now, this is not an Arsenal team good enough to be wearing Arsenal jerseys. That's as big a problem as whether the manager's going to be good enough. Most of these players are not good enough. Most of these players don't have the desire, no matter what people say. I didn't see them fighting for Arteta today. I saw them have a period of 5-10 minutes in the second half where they got themselves a goal, and then they lost their discipline again, and Southampton probably should have won it. So they're 15th in the league for a reason, and I'm going on about a little bit longer than I would normally about this. But people just talk nonsense. People just... And Edu, the technical director, was out recently saying, we love Arteta, he's going to be brilliant, and things are going well. And I'm like, holy smokes, are we watching the same thing here? But it's tough. It's tough being an Arsenal fan right now, and you can throw the FA Cup at me and all that, and you can tell me they're winning in the Europa League and beating Rapid Vienna and beating the likes of Dundalk and Molde and teams like that. Couldn't give a hoot. Couldn't give a hoot. Your bread and butter is the Premier League. And in the Premier League, they have been this season utterly abysmal. And there's no great sign of that changing. Tell me something in today's performance that said to you or anybody out there, yeah, I could see things starting to pick up. If I was Sheffield United, who can't win a game for toffee, I think I'd want to play Arsenal soon. I think I want to play Arsenal next. If I was Chris Wilder, I'd be like, give me Arsenal. Because they've got no backbone. For a big team, if I'm playing one of the big teams, supposed big teams, give me Arsenal. They've got no backbone. They make bad decisions, right? They're a bunch of fancy dans, and that's why they're 15th in the Premier League. That's fact.
Frank LeBeouf has been hanging around all
Frank,
this time.
I do apologise. I thought I was on my own there, Frank, so I thought I would go on a little bit of a rant.
He's not sorry.
No problem. It's always interesting to listen to my former teammates, so no problem.
Frank, what do you make of what Craig was saying?
Before joining Craig in his statement, I want to say that I saw a game with with two teams, two different psychological feeling in the two teams. There is one team, the Saints, they are full of confidence. They even tried passes, and you say, well, it never go to the partner. It's going to be a wrong pass, and because of the deflection, suddenly it becomes a fortunate pass, and they get it right. And another team who doesn't try anything becomes very shy because there is a lack of confidence, and it's what I saw from the Gunners. But one thing you cannot do. One thing, and it's where I join Craig, is one thing I cannot stand. It's that you don't fight. Even if you're not full of confidence, even if you're not ready to make sure you're going to have a good game or you're going to entertain the people, you're going to play and you're going to be ready to die on the field. And it's what I don't see from the Southampton Gunners. And what I see, and I'm going to name one, because I like him, because I played with his father. But Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, before he scored the goal, I was wondering what he was doing on the field. And he scored the goal because of a Saka fantastic dribbles and giving a very lucky pass to somebody else, because I think it was for Aubameyang, and he ended up going to Aubameyang's feet and he scored the goal. But otherwise, I want to know what's going wrong with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. We all said during the summer, and I think Craig was the first one to say he was the best transfer because he signed again for the Gunners. But since then, nothing. Nothing. But it's not only that he doesn't show what he's capable of. It's because he's not running. He's not fighting with his teammate. He has the armband. He has to show example. And the example is not showed because he doesn't even run. And I want him to understand, and it's why maybe I'm going to say that because he's going to be relied by the press. Frank Lebus criticized Aubameyang. Yeah, because I love you, man. So do the job. Start running. Start fighting with your teammates if you want Arsenal to be saved at the end of the season.
I think you're overestimating how much people care about your opinion, Frank, to be honest, but there we are.
If there's one slither of...
Well, every time I say something wrong about another club, I'm in the press in England, and I say lately about Manchester United, whatever.
Don't worry.
So, we are very watched.
Frank, don't worry. When people are not talking about you, that's a bigger worry. One tiny, and I mean tiny slither of positivity is, once again, young boy Saka wants to take responsibility.
Right.
He wants to take the ball for a run. He's an England international now. He wants to take it for a run. He wants to get on the ball. He won't hide. He'll go and try things. And I'm loath to criticise young players, and I'm not criticising any of the youngsters here, but I'm picking him out as a young man that just, even amongst the immense mediocrity that Arsenal are shows glimpses of a potential future that could be bright. How many tackles were put in Oriol Romeo and James Ward-Prowse during that game? How many times did Arsenal get tight and make a tackle, to Frank's point? Hardly any. And let me tell you about pressure. And let me tell you how these Arsenal players lack the stomach. Most of them, not all. Bit generic, that comment, but I'll stick with it. There's no fans in, as we know. Or there's not many. Depends where you are in the country. The stadium's literally empty. Can you imagine putting those performances in, week after week, in front of 60,000? They would be... You talk about no confidence. They've got nobody there barracking them. They've got nobody there booing them every time they make a mistake and haranguing them and shouting at them and abusing them and waiting for them outside. So... there's no reason, apart from the odd bad performance and result, not to go out there and roll your sleeves up. Because Frank and I and we all know that playing in front of big crowds, when you're having a bad time, people get on your back and it's doubly difficult. You've got to pick your chin up, you've got to put it behind you, you've got to take all the stick, you've got to soak it in, and you've got to get your backside back out next week and perform. These guys don't have that pressure. There's nobody in the stadium. And yet we're still seeing these tepid, timid performances. Let me tell you, Arteta's not in the hot seat for a sack just yet, right? But I would imagine he's a transfer window and quite a few bad results away from being quite close. I mean, they're saying they're backing him at the moment, and that's the right thing to do because he's very young and it is early. But it can't... This run of results in this manner can't continue from now to the end of the season. It can't. He's going to have to stop this slide. He's going to have to stop this mediocrity. Otherwise, what you get in a scenario is you get the board, who are already tight with the money, saying, OK, we'll maybe give him a little bit more time, but can we trust him with the money? And that is the problem. That is the problem for him, and that is the problem for the club. And that's a big problem, Dan, for the Arsenal supporters at the moment. Is bad results breed poor confidence within the board, breed a lack of anybody being forced to spend money.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.